week for an hour because I feel like I need support in my other relationship, and maybe I could share for 15 minutes, you could listen, you could share for 15 minutes, and I could listen. There's so many ways to do it. And so if you're saying there's no resources out there, I think it's a rationalization. It's giving into your fear and your resistance. And so there are simple ways to interact. And once you start talking about your emotions and getting reflections, you'll be amazed at what's possible. And taking baby steps around it is totally fine. Take your time, go slow, find your connection, and the whole world changes.
I like that you did mention electronics and Zoom and online men's groups, because I'm guessing, it's my assumption, that there might be some men out there who think this sounds really good and I really want to move into it. The culture that I'm in, the environment that I'm in is not conducive for this. And it would be very beneficial for them to just step outside of their culture, outside of their family, and connect with some people who are on the same journey with them.
Right. And so again, it's baby steps, take slow, set an intention, set a goal, and then go out and find it. There's no shortage of things out there in the world today. We're very lucky to live in such a connected world.
Yeah, we are. And I love that you had mentioned John Wineland, because he's somebody that I follow, and I've been to his workshops. And
oh, great. Yeah,
absolutely fantastic work. And one of the things that I appreciate about his work as well is it's that non-threatening. Take one step, take another step. Are you ready to confront this? And he also uses some of the traditionally masculine language about be brave and confront it, do this and confront it. And it's using the masculine language to move into the feminine emotion. And right. I think that helps some men, because you were saying earlier, don't stop, never surrender. Well, it's almost like don't stop surrendering.
John is a good friend of mine, and he's a student of David Data's work, Way of the Superior Man. Yeah. And he works with another good friend of mine, Kendra Kunoff. They do workshops, really spectacular. And his main thing, and we often debate. I love debating with him, because I was like, John, I don't know about polarity. I don't know about this piece. And his face got red, and we got into a debate about it. He won in the end. But the fun part is that there really is so much to learn from other men who've been down the road. David Data, Way of the Superior Man, impacted so many people. And my goal of writing my book was an update to David Data's book. That was, I read David Data's book. I was impressed. I didn't agree with everything he said, but I was impressed. And so I really modeled my book out of his ideas and concepts of how to just speak plainly to men for the simple steps they can take to improve their lives.
Oh, I love that, because that was a great book. So I think that's a great idea. It does need updating. And something that you had mentioned right there that I want to jump back to, there are concepts that you said you've disagreed with, you've debated over. I think that's important for listeners as well. Whether it's Way of the Superior Man or your unHIDDEN book, or John and Kendra's workshop or blogs or work, if there's something that resonates with you, that's the time to move into it. If there's something that you read and you think, I don't really know, that's okay. It's not that you have to accept everything. It's those small pieces, again, that you were talking about. If something feels good, move into it and explore it further.
Right. And I'm constantly learning. I'm still a student. Like, I'm now in kind of a love-hate relationship with an author named Jordan Peterson, who is a very outspoken social scientist. And some of his things come across, I'm just like, I hate this. And then I listen to it and I work with it, and I'm just like, I can see that point. And the parts that trigger us, the parts that are deeply affecting us, they're important. They're part of your psyche that's gotten triggered. It's a warning to you. A lot of men look, when they get triggered or they get angry, it's something bad. They start to feel jealous, or they start to feel envy, and that's something bad. To me, it's the opposite. It means that there's something inside of you that's being affected and touched. And so every time I get jealous at something, I'm excited. I'm just like, what part of me wants to be seen? What parts of me wants to expand? And my expansion will never end. I'm doing this the rest of my life. I'm lucky to have a wife who's, an expansion junkie like me. And so we're constantly talking and pushing each other to become better and better people. And in that, life never gets boring at all.
Right. Right. And you were right on about when we get triggered, it's an exciting moment. The work that I do, most of my listeners know this, but the work that I do is with women on revealing themselves. And I use the analogy of burlesque. And we do some burlesque moves, but are you more threatened revealing your body, your mind, your beliefs? What are you most threatened by? And although it's perfectly valid and wonderful to start small, the gain comes from when we reveal that big thing that's very threatening, because that is what needs to be uncovered. That's what needs to be unhidden. And you're right, there's excitement in that. It's like, ooh, this is going to be hard, aka this is going to be transformative and good.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So what else are you doing with your work? How can people learn more about you and what you're doing, whether it's your book or you?
My website is robertkandell.com. It's the hub for all things me. It's my book is there. I have a podcast called Tough Love, which you can listen to. I have articles, I have videos I've done, and links to my social media. I'm very active on Facebook. I'm very active on Instagram, but everything can be found at robertkandell.com. If you want to find the book, it's also on Amazon. Just search Kandell or Unhidden, and it shows right up, and that's where you get to, check out the book. An audio version should be out actually by the time this comes out. I know men like audio version. I love audio books, and so that'll be available as well in the very near future.
That's exciting. That's really exciting. So then I know you're a student forever. I am too. Love that expansion. But what are you moving into now? What's next for you?
My main thing is interesting. It's actually promoting the book, but more specifically promoting myself and where I stop myself short from being in someone else's shadow. Like I had a very dominating, brilliant, strong father, and I was an extension of him. My entire training was to basically live in his favor and get his approval. And so when I actually broke with my father, I then got involved with One Taste and got myself where I was in the position where I was behind the curtain from a woman named Nicole. She was in front, I was behind the curtain. And then when I left One Taste and I got involved with this other woman named Franny, we built a business in Hollywood called LA Mother. And again, she was the face and I was the one behind. And then I saw in a flash of insight and deep therapy was how often I put myself behind. And so for the last 2 years, it's really been about building my own brand, stepping out in front of the curtain, be willing to be proud of my own name and my own work. And that is a big psychological leap for me because the first 45, 46 years of my life, I was very happy being excellent behind the curtain. And now to be unskilled in front of the curtain or new in front of the curtain, that's been a major challenge for me. So, but that's my hero's journey. That's the next part of my evolution, and I'm really thrilled to have it.
Wow. Yeah, that is a big step. And then what happens as you get comfortable with that? Do you have any insight one step beyond that?
Well, my main goal, I think it's important for people, but especially men, to have specific goals. Like the book, there's an exercise for short, medium, and long goals. Short goals meaning what you can do in 30 days, medium in 6 months, and long being longer, whatever that is. And my trajectory is I have a goal to speak on Tony Robbins' stage. That's my top goal, to be so good and so recognized and have such a powerful platform that Tony's like, comes in front of the stage in one of the seminars and speak about living unhidden, speaking the truth, your communication. And so that's the pie in the sky. That's the mountain I'm going towards. And so everything is building up to that. So after that, you'll have to check in to see what my next big goal is. But that's my big goal at the moment.
I like that. Okay, here's a tough question for you.
Sure.
I don't want to put you on the spot. This is just what I'm guessing might be in some of my listeners' minds right now. You talk about being unhidden and living your truth. I can hear some people thinking, yeah, well, my truth is stereotypical masculine. My truth is strong, stoic, silent. What do you say to that? Is it ever somebody's truth to be negative, grouchy, masculine, misogynistic, or is there always love underneath?
That's a great question, actually. So I do believe there's love underneath, and I don't think there's anything wrong with grouchy, toxic masculine. If you're living the life and that's how you describe yourself, or whatever words, that works better for you, and you're happy and you're satisfied with your life, then I'm like, great. If there are people out there that want simple lives. They want to work 9 to 5. They want to go home. They want to eat a simple meal. They want to watch a ball game with their partner. They want to go to sleep. Like, if you're happy with your life, then God bless it. Like, I'm 100% behind that. And if you look underneath the surface and there's one little itch underneath there, if there's one little thing to improve, then I'm saying pay attention to that itch. And I'm not talking about epic things. It could be, I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to learn to play the piano. I want to be able to do a crossword puzzle. Like, what are these little things that you want in your life? My belief is that most humans have desire, but then they have judgment about their desire. And if that judgment is really strong, then they suppress their desire. That is what my life mission is about. Whatever that desire is, be it really small, be as big as getting on Tony Robbins' stage, or maybe you want to be the president of the United States. God knows we could probably use you. Whatever that goal is, pay attention to that desire, because who you are in the journey of realizing and moving towards that desire, not necessarily having it, who you are in the journey of it, that's where life happens. And so I would love to meet someone who says, I have no desire, I'm happy 100%. I think within 15 minutes, I could probably eke out one thing they want. And so that's my belief.
Yeah, I share that belief with you wholeheartedly, because even though I, we, you, whoever can get into that place of, yeah, it's great, I do believe there's that universal desire for more connection, for more love, to know somebody intimately, deeply, and to be known and seen by others deeply.
100%.
And I do feel like that has been some of the pain around the collective masculine, not exposing themselves and sharing that tender place that's inside everyone.
Right. And if you have a partner that's asking something and it's annoying that he or she are asking it, pay attention to what they're asking for. I'm sure a lot of men can just be like, that's their problem. She's a crazy, it's that time of the month. We can say all these things to say it's them. My recommendation, if your partner's asking something of you, just get a degree more curious about it and say, okay, why does she want that? It could be that she has relationship to her desire. She doesn't feel right. And so you can be a co-creator for both of you, expanding your life. And again, this doesn't have to be epic. It could be something small. But to me, when my wife brings a desire, there are times I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with what she wants. How am I going to produce that? Where's that money going to come from? I don't have time for that. But my response to it is, thank you for telling me your desire. Let's see what we can do. And that in the journey, that's where our relationship is so amazing, is because we explore it together. It's so much more fun to do that than to deny it.
Right. All right. So I want to shift gears a tiny bit for the end of the show and kind of go back to the beginning here. You had mentioned you've got a couple of kids.
Yes.
Kids. Yeah. How does your work apply to kids? Do you work specifically with the youth and helping create this unhidden lifestyle, this connection early on? Or what are your thoughts around all of that?
I met my wife about 4 years ago. At this point, we started dating, and pretty much we knew that we had found our people. That moment we were just like, oh yeah, this is the right thing. So I met her kids about a month or 2 months after that, and just started to integrate myself into their lives. Now that we're married, they're my stepkids, and I'm learning how to be a parent, which was not something I expected